Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor, and I am your humble host, Faith. And I just wanted to get into it a little bit because it's been a little crazy. I've been seeing a lot of people that I really admire, a lot of people that I really love and I care about, really come in and support me in my message of needing a better class of women. And so I just wanted to let everyone know that I am so thankful for the people that are definitely on board, the people that definitely support what I do, and the people that are willing to let me finish my series and not trying to stop me or stand in my way. As you know, I've come in contact with people that don't like my message. I've come in contact with people who have admitted that they are trying to silence me. Yesterday, I listened to Mahogany Roots, and shout out to her. She did 2 really nice live streams. That girl has a fire energy in her that is just is unstoppable, and I love her to death. I love her to death. But in response to that fire energy, the person that she was going after, which is Sweet Life of Atari, Sweet Life of Atari came out on her channel and said something, and I knew that this was the case, but she was basically saying that she wants to stop me from putting out my message. And I knew already that she wanted to stop me. I knew it, but it was just, you know how it's different when you get the confirmation. It's kind of different when you actually hear the person say it. And I had to sit back and I was like, wow, I speculated that this is what you were doing, but I was right all along. And it just kind of made me sad. It did, because I had no idea that other women would be this treacherous to other women because they don't like a message or a talking point. So this is the reason why I titled this video, "Let Us Attack You in Peace." Now, as you know, if you go down Atari's timeline, she has quite a few videos with my name and my image in it, discussing my daughter with some pretty disgusting thumbnails. So, I wonder how long was I supposed to ignore that? Especially if you are attacking my family. How long would you ignore it? To any of the ladies out here listening, if you went through something traumatic with your family and someone was spreading lies about it and using it for content, how long would you ignore that? And see, it's not lost on me that people, when I began to clap back, because I clapped back yesterday, but as soon as you clap back, then people want to say that something is wrong with you. But Atari has no less than at least 4 or 5 videos in a row about me in that situation. So why would I not clap back? Thank you, Sister George. Sister George says, "Good morning, Faith. Please continue to put your message out there. It's very much needed." I will. Nobody is going to stop me. But it's just really shocking to hear the person say it out their mouth that this is what they were trying to do, that they wanted to stop me. This woman views me like a female Kevin Samuels. And I'm a very small content creator. But she wants to stop me from putting out a message that calls for women to do better, to become a better class of women, to become better role models. That's kind of telling. And like I said, when I showed you all the clip of her yesterday, going back and forth with another woman that had a similar talking point as mine, she has been doing this quite a bit. She has a problem with women with conservative talking points. And so that is not my problem, though, Atari. If you don't like the series, don't watch it. But I'm not going to stop because you don't like it. You're not going to sit over there and throw a tantrum. You know, when my daughters and my son were babies, if they didn't like something, you know how babies do, they throw tantrums like, you know, they kick and they scream and, you know, they do all this stuff. And so you have to stop what you're doing because they're over there throwing that tantrum. But that's exactly what they want. They want attention. That's the reason why they're over there throwing that tantrum. And so I learned when I used to go to the little parenting classes, sometimes you got to let them throw that tantrum until they get tired. So I think that's the approach that I'm going to take with Atari. Now, she's going to, of course, clip everything that I say because that's her content. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not a hater. I just ask that she refrain from using people in my family and then using it under the guise of she's doing something for the betterment of other women. I don't see how my daughter, using my daughter's situation, the situation that myself and my daughter was in, empowers anybody. BMT says, "Am I the only one that didn't go to parenting classes?" Well, I know I did because, you know, I was a young parent. You know, I was a young parent and I needed it. I needed the parenting classes and they were very beneficial. Um, but I did want to talk about something in a more serious note. Now, yesterday, Womansphere came onto my panel and she told me quite a few things about Bomb Cherry and her children, particularly her son. I went to Miss Olivia, the Oracle's channel, and I listened to their live stream. And Bomb Cherry did go up there and clarify herself in that situation. Now, she said that her son was not 13 when that happened to him, but he was 12. So he was much younger than I originally stated. The other thing that I noticed about Bomb Cherry's explanation is that she said that she attempted to call the police and report it, but she said that the police would not write it up for whatever reason. And I want to I want to talk about that because you know how you hear something that somebody says, and you know, I'm a very fair-minded person, even in the midst of people dragging me. I try to be fair-minded. I know that the legal system can be very biased towards Black people, and they don't view our children as it is. But oh, Jen J says it's not okay for anyone to talk about children ever. They ain't got no ish to do with this BS. Well, the thing about it is, when they talked about my daughter, I never harped on anyone talking about my daughter because she's a child. I harped on them talking about my daughter because she is an adult who is going through depression. See, I don't have children anymore, and neither does Bomb. Both I and Bomb's children are adults. So the first thing I need people to do is I need people to call a thing a thing. We're not talking about children. We're talking about grown adults. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat at Doug. He said it was all good a week ago. I hope the sisterhood civil war ends soon because I don't know who's cool with who anymore. There's definitely some people that I'm not going to fuck with anymore. That's just inevitable, especially when you go that low, Doug. So I can't kumbaya with anyone. Right, Sister George. Sister George says when people attack your personal life, it's hard to refrain. They do things to try to hurt you and tear you down. And that's what I'm talking about. Like people, if it's not happening to you, it's best that you don't judge, because I used to be like that. I used to be like, okay, how come you can't just let it go and walk away from the situation? That is until I found my personal life under attack. You do not know how you will react when someone is attacking people in your family whom you love. And my children are my life. So before anybody come up in here talking about some girls stop playing victim, and you should just let people talk about your daughter and let people attack you in peace, you don't know how you will react if you were in that same situation. And no, I am not a victim at all. I'm not even on a victim tour. As a matter of fact, the only thing I've ever said was leave her out of that because she's currently going through her treatment. And that is a reasonable request. So it's not anybody playing victim. It's just me asking people to play fair. And see, what people like to do is they want to attack you in peace and they don't want you to say nothing. But as soon as you clap back, then all of a sudden they want you to be a classy lady. See, we can be ratchet. We can talk about your daughter. We can bring up your personal stuff. But as soon as you clap back and you talk about their people that they care about, the same way they talked about the person that you cared about, then all of a sudden they want you to be a lady. See, it was all good when it was just them doing it. But if I do it, I look crazy, right? And so that's the reason why I have to say, bitch, please. Not a victim, because I am capable of handling myself, as you can see. I can get low and gutter, or I can take the high road. I'm a chameleon like that. I can go back and forth. But please know you're going to get the work if you fuck with me and mine. And that is just the way it is. And that's the way it should be. Now, I would not tell women that listen to me to be doormats. There is nothing about being a lady that implies that you have to be a doormat. And that is what a lot of people will have you do. See, they want all the rules of etiquette to apply to you when they're being bullies. And while they're being bullies, there are no rules that apply to them. But they want you, because you say that you're a classy person, that you want to carry yourself a certain way. They want all the rules to apply to you. But no rules apply to them. Let us attack you in peace, Faith. You sit there and be a lady and take these punchings, because ladies sit there and take the abuse. No, no, hon. No, it doesn't work that way. To all the ladies listening to my sound, to my voice, to the sound of my voice, you do not have to take anybody's abuse in the name of being a lady. You don't. There's a time and a place for every situation, and you do not have to go high every time they go low. There are some situations where you do got to get low in order to drive home your point. So see, I had been on my going high thing with some of these people, and the higher I went, the more I requested that they refrain for utilizing that situation, the more they utilize the situation. So how much of a high road do you expect me to take? Well, see, the answer is I don't need your permission. When I have had enough, that is when I decide I have had enough. And I had enough. Right, Demetrius. People do need to say that, hey, you, me, we ain't cool no more. But see, people don't just say we ain't cool no more and walk away. And see, I get what Woman's Fear was saying. And you can say what you want to about Woman's Fear. But she's right. Punishments have to fit the crime. So my crime was, I announced that I have a series that I would like to roll out called A Better Class of Women, and that the focus will be on distinguishing from the lady and women who are not considered ladies. Kind of like when Black men made the distinguishment between the educated lame and the Pookies and Ray Rays. No different. And I have a group of women, 3 in particular, that had a problem with that. And rather than attack the actual talking points, they couldn't attack the talking points. Let me just point that out to you. They could not really attack the talking points, because what they're defending cannot be defended. So if you pay close attention, they went from defending the indefensible to attacking me personally. Jen J says, I ain't showing no respect to disrespectful people. Respect is earned. Exactly. If you're being disrespectful, someone is being disrespectful to you, you do not have to respect anybody that does not respect you. Respect is earned. Respect is a minimum requirement. And if the person can't even meet the minimum, you owe them nothing. I don't owe any of these people nothing after how they treated me and my daughter. Nothing. Sister George says, handle the situation however you see fit. People are hypocritical as fuck. They will watch others attack you and then get mad when you defend yourself. Exactly. And see, they can scratch their ass and get glad. Water Sniper said, did I use their names or pictures as an example for the A Better Woman video? No, I didn't call anybody's name. I didn't use anybody's images. That's not how I roll. I have actual bullet point talking points that I use. I have real life scenarios that I can use without bringing in people's personal lives. So that is what I use in my content, but hit dogs will holler. And now we know who they all are individually. BMT says, F that. Everyone wants the Christian to turn the other cheek, but don't want the follow up left punch. We ain't pacifists over here. Exactly. And I do not encourage any woman to be a pacifist. Being a lady does not mean that you do not stand up for yourself. Ladies have the courage to use their voices and speak. Ladies are people who will also stand up for themselves. And if need be, crack your skull if it gets to that. It's not like there aren't ladies that don't know self-defense. Right. Gynocracy Takeover says, as soon as Faith clacks back, all of a sudden, wow, why y'all bring kids into this? Right. The irony, right? But you talked about my adult child, and I talked about her adult children. So, an eye for an eye. Good morning, Kane Hyde. I saw Kane Hyde in the comment section yesterday. Somebody came in with that turn the other cheek stuff, and Kent Hyde be on it. She was like, please. She wasn't trying to hit. But let me tell you guys something. I wanted to talk about that situation with Bomb Cherry and her child. I did not know that the child was even younger at the time. Her son is a grown adult man now, but at the time she said he was 12 when that horrible thing happened to him. I listened to what she said, and I listened to her explanation. And like I said, I'm fair. I listened to her explanation, and she said she tried to inform the authorities, but the police would not, I guess put in a report or, start an investigation. And this is where I have to pause a little bit. Now, in cases where children, especially children that young, her child was 12, and she was reporting that a adult sexually abused her child, and a police officer who has the responsibility of enforcing the laws of the land refused to enforce the law, she tells us. Bum Cherry says she told the police officer that a middle-aged white woman was sexually abusing her 12-year-old son, and that police officer refused to enforce the law. You know what, Virgo Libra, that's exactly what I was thinking. Why didn't she go above his head? Because, see, that is literally a police officer's job. They are supposed to enforce the laws of the land. And especially for something as serious as child sexual assault. So she basically let it go because she claimed that there was nothing she could do. The police would not do anything. Exactly, can't hide. That's grape. And it just sounds crazy to me that all the officer had to say was he's not going to do anything. And Bomb said her husband was there and they both let it go. Even if my husband was not on board with me pursuing the case, I don't think that I would let one police officer or my husband stop me from pursuing justice. Because, like I said, I'm fair. I do realize that this justice system, they look at our children not as children. So I do understand that. That's the reason why we as the parents, we as the adults have to push forward. Like I said, when I got jumped, when I was about, maybe I was in 7th grade when it happened. I was walking home from school and I saw a group of guys standing on the corner and they were all, kind of gangbanger guys. I didn't want to walk through that group of guys. So I knew that I could cut through the alley and I can go around the back gate and get to my front door. I did not know that one of the guys was on top of the garage. So he jumped down and he pulled me inside the garage and tried to rape me. Luckily, there was somebody walking through the alley. I think it was his brother. And when he saw that his brother was coming, he got scared and he let me go. I immediately ran and I told my parents. I told the story before. And my father got involved. He wanted to put his foot in their ass. My mother got involved and they went to the authorities. Now, once again, the police do not see our children as children. No, I didn't get raped. It was an attempt. But when I got to the police station with my parents were there to press charges against the boy that tried to grape me. And they put me in a room by myself and they told my parents that they had to fill out some paperwork. While my parents were gone, the police snuck back into the room where I was by myself and they began to question me by myself without my parents, which is illegal. When my father got wind that they were in there questioning me, he bust in the door and he began to speak legalese and he let them know that he knew his rights and that he knew that they were violating mine. And I thank God that I had strong parents that knew their rights and that they were not going to let law enforcement abuse their authority. So this is what I have to say to Bomb in that situation. That police officer, if it's true that he would not press charges and that he would not investigate for your son, that police officer was abusing their authority. and violating you and your son's rights. And as his parent, knowing that was happening, knowing that your rights were being violated, you should have went above that person's head until you got to somebody that would listen to you. Because I'm not going to say that it didn't happen, because I wasn't there. So in me being fair, I will take you at your word that they just would not report it. And if that's true, that still doesn't let you as the parent off the hook for pushing for justice. Now, it could be a variety of things, because I do know that there's a whole system of things that occur when they start launching these investigations into child sexual assault. They start looking at everybody involved. The child is questioned about their home life, and how they're so free to roam around and be in that situation. The child is asked a lot of questions too. There's a huge investigation that goes on. So maybe, Bomb, I'm thinking, because I don't know if you were doing the cam modeling during that time, maybe you really didn't want people prying into your personal life. And I say that to say, not as a hit against you, because that's a serious topic, but I know a lot of parents that sweep things under the rug and let a lot of things go because they got some stuff going on in their personal life that they don't want getting out or being investigated. So they'll tell their kid, okay, well, you're not hurt. You don't seem to be too upset about it. And so you were more than happy to let that go, I believe, because there's something else going on that you didn't want them to investigate going on in your house. See, my parents, they didn't have anything like what you have going on in our house. So they were like very cooperative with the authorities and the police. They had no problem. And they were right there with me every step of the way. And this is not a dragging, but this is a serious issue that affects our community. And I see this happen to our kids all the time, where their issues of being assaulted get swept under the rug because the parents don't want to come under the eye of scrutiny. Whether it be one parent selling drugs out the house, and now the spot is hot because the kid is saying that somebody touched them, and now they don't want anybody coming in and investigating their shit. That's the only reason I've ever seen Black people letting stuff just go, because they don't want their shit to be looked at. It's a huge problem. So I listened to your explanation, and I'm not saying that these police are not biased, because like I said, even with my situation with my daughter, I had a white neighbor that something similar happened to her and her daughters. This lady got into it with her daughters, and they were fighting like animals in the street. The police was called and nobody went to jail in that case. So I know exactly what you mean about the police being biased. They treated that white mother like a mother. And they counseled. I watched the police take care in counseling her and her daughters. And he removed the daughters out of the house and told them to take a walk and cool off. But when it was my situation with my child, I was not treated like a mother. I was treated like a criminal. They do that to us. They do that to us in our domestic situations. So I do understand that there are differences in how these police choose to deal with situations. Now that the ordeal is over and my daughter and I have gone through the counseling, I am seeking to have those charges removed and stricken from my record. And I spoke with a lawyer, and I have a very good case to do so because of the element of me protecting my grandson and the element of my daughter suffering from a mental disorder of depression. So all of these things are going to work in my favor to have that removed because it was a circumstance of me trying to protect a child. My grandson was actually a child, not my daughter. So I'm going to do the responsible thing and I'm going to push for my rights because my rights were violated. The same way that that police officer in the situation with the white woman that lived across from me and her daughters, they viewed that white woman as a mother. But in my situation, they did not treat me as a mother. They treated me and my daughter as criminals right from the jump. And I don't appreciate other Black people weaponizing my family trauma like that. See, I don't usually go low with other people's families and their family trauma. But to be fair, you all weaponized my family trauma first. So I am not going to apologize for my clapback, by the way. So you can take this and clip it and chop and screw it however you like. But do know that I understand exactly how biased this system is against us. And for that, I do have some compassion because I know firsthand how that feels. So, I just wanted to stick my head in and to say that because it was important that you know that I understand the difference. I understand the difference very, very well. I also understand our Black households and our Black household dynamics too. We got a lot of problems within our homes and within our families. And there's a lot of people keeping the family secrets because they know that their family secrets are not pristine clean, and that if people investigated into that, you would be in a lot of trouble. I could be very wrong about my assumptions, Bomb Cherry, but I don't know too many parents that love their child that would have let something like that go. I don't doubt that you don't love your children, but you let that go for a reason. And like I said, I know Black family dynamics. You let that go because there's something else that you did not want them to find out going on in your household. And if you did that, and I say if, shame on you. But even without knowing why you let it go, the point is you let that go. You have to hold that L and be accountable for that. And that is the problem with a lot of abuse going unreported, especially towards our boys in the Black community, because of parents like you that don't push for their rights. Like I said, you have a very beautiful grandson. I watched your videos with you playing with your grandson. That does not keep me from looking at you as an adult. And it does not stop me from looking at you as the parent of your child who was 12 at the time. It doesn't stop me from listening to you say that a police officer abused their authority and you did nothing to push back. I have strong, my parents were strong, and I am a strong parent. My parents taught me what my rights are, and I teach my children that they have rights. And I will not allow any white police officer, white, black, pink, purple, gray, I don't care who you are, you're not going to abuse your authority, and you are not going to infringe upon my rights. As a parent, it was your right to report and press charges, and it is their job to investigate. My parents made the system do their job. It was your responsibility to make them do their job. That's what we pay our taxes for. We pay taxes just like everybody else. And our issues deserve to be looked into, unless you don't want them to look into it, that is. So I'm very skeptical as to why you let that go. That's all I'm saying. Gynocracy said, then uploaded a video with the living room table filthy. Our grandmothers would never. You know what? Yeah, I saw the video of her and her grandson playing around. She does that to pull at people's heartstrings. The grandbaby is so cute that we're going to forget that you told us that you pretty much did not pursue your 12-year-old son's abuser. See, that's what that video was for. So that we could forget or overlook the fact, because the baby is so cute. See, that is manipulation 101. That is manipulation 101. Good morning, Mahogany. I was just talking about your live streams that you did the other day. And I wanted to say thank you so much for courageously stepping in and taking up for a sister and having my back. You know, that's what sisters do. When Mahogany was going through the same thing with the same person that I'm talking about, I had her back. And also, shout out to the Woman Sphere podcast as well for coming up and having a sister's back as well. And that is what we should do. We should always have each other's backs. And these two ladies, they demonstrated that they are definitely for other women and that they do truly love other women. But yeah, you know, Gynocracy Takeover has a great point. She posts the video of the grandbaby playing and laughing, and the grandbaby is so cute. But we're supposed to overlook the fact that when your son was 12 years old and you claim the police would not prosecute his abuser, you just let it go. We're supposed to forget that you said that. Now, you can sit up here and say Woman Sphere is lying about the other things that your son did after he was grown, as far as beating up his your grandson's mother and all that. See, you took those videos down, or shall I say, YouTube deleted your channel. And so those videos are not available anymore. So it's pretty smart to deny because the video isn't up anymore. But you couldn't deny what you said about your son and what happened to him when he was 12, because I was there and I remember that story. And plus the video is still up. But I'm not going to do like Miss Clippity Clip It and weaponize your family dysfunction. But I will point out that I heard your explanation over at Miss Olivia's. I heard your explanation over at Miss Olivia's, and it didn't pass the sniff test. It just didn't pass the sniff test. Now, Miss Olivia being a former or retired caseworker, I don't know if she's still doing it or not. I think she said she's not doing it. But I think that someone who has been in that field and dealt with situations like that, she ought to know when something don't sound right. And see, if I'm not even in that field and I'm listening to your explanation as to why you didn't pursue charges on behalf of your child, and I can point out the inaccuracies and inconsistencies in your explanation, I'm quite sure she probably can too, but she chooses to side with someone who allowed her son's abuser to go scot-free without a fight. That is a choice. And that lets me know that a person can have such a hatred for another person who didn't do shit to any of you, by the way. But you can have such a heavy dislike. Maybe hate is a strong word. You know, people hate, you know, using the word hate. I'll just say a strong dislike for me. Your dislike for me is stronger than your common sense. And see, that is the reason why a better class of women is needed. Because we have all these cliques and we have all these people, all these women in our community, I should say. We have all these women that have such a need to be right that they don't mind being wrong. Your need to be right, your need to be a people pleaser, your need to fit in with the clique overrides your better judgment. Now, I'm glad that I don't have any women in my clique talking about they gonna let their child's abuser walk away scot-free simply because a cop would not do their job. That sounds very fishy to me. Exactly, Ken High. Ken High said they're wrong and strong. Alpha Omega says, I don't believe for a second that some white woman was messing with her 12-year-old son, but that's just me personally, though. So you think Bomb Cherry made up the story? Because that came directly from her. And if you go to Miss Olivia channel, she pretty much admits that it did happen and that her child was actually younger. But then again, Bomb Cherry does lie a lot too. So, there's that. I believe her when she says it happened. I believe her. Because I know that sort of thing happens to our children in our community a lot. And it goes underreported, like with Bomb's son. Bomb Cherry allowed that to go unreported, where she claims she tried to report it, but the police wouldn't, do their job. Which to me isn't good enough of an excuse for you as a parent not to press forward with the issue. Now, it's a serious topic, so I want everybody to be respectful, but I want to drop the link, or shall I say, I'm going to ask, because I usually, I want to see what the vibe is. I've done my 1 hour spiel, and I pretty much said what I wanted to say. So if anyone wants me to go ahead and open up the panel, if anyone has anything that they want to share or add to the situation regarding how Black people report sexual assault in Black communities, and if you have any stories that you would like to share with as far as your dealings with the police, if you have any expertise in the situation that you can share, that would be greatly appreciated. So put a 1 in the chat if you would like for me to drop the link. Put a 2 in the chat if you would not like for me to drop the link. 1 to drop the link, 2 not to drop the link. And I'll leave that up to you guys. Ken High says that white women are notorious for raping Black children. Yes. Let me see what else you guys are saying here. And I want to say shout out to everyone that came in today. I see that my early bird was Mr. BMT, Business Minded Talk. Be sure to check out his channel. He talks about a lot of community issues on his channel. He says, just sitting at the stove watching. What you eating, BMT? Tampa Supreme says, Faith is not playing. No, I'm not. I'm really not. B Stephanie Bewitched, not bothered. Welcome, Angel Ray. Sister George, the Gynocracy Takeover. Check out her channel. She has an awesome podcast. Plenty of great information, and she is funny as hell. She will make you laugh. Be sure to subscribe to the Gynocracy Takeover. Virgo, Libra, Cups in the house. Demetrius. Okay, I always get this name messed up. Demetrius Higashikata. I hope I pronounced that right. Dougie Doug in the house with a $5 super chat. Thank you once again. Alpha Omega. So I'm going to look and see at how many ones and how many twos I have in the chat. If I have enough ones or twos, one to open the panel, two not to open the panel. I see a one and I see a two. That's it. Okay, wait a minute. I see another one. I got it right. Yay! Finally, I finally pronounced something right. Oh, there's only been one other person to get that right, huh? I try. I do. What's up, Melanated Vessel? She wants me to open up the panel. I'll let you guys vote a little bit longer. Ken High says, no, don't open the panel. Virgo Libra Cup says one, open the panel. I'm going to wait for a couple of more votes to come in. And then after that, I'm going to make my decision. It's almost coming up on 1 hour that I've been up here. So like I said, one to open, two not to open. Looks like I got a lot of ones down here in the chat. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like I only have 1, 2 in the chat room. So like I said, if you guys don't want me to open it, oh, wait a minute, somebody else. 1. Okay, well, it looks like the ones have it. Blue Jubble Geese, 1. Okay, all right. All right, so I'm going to drop the link down here. There are rules. Now, if you come up here to be disrespectful to me, the host, you're out of here. Okay. If you come up here to change the topic to anything besides what I have talked about, you're out of here. We're not here to talk about my love life or none of that type of stuff, because people have come up here disrespecting my panel quite a few occasions. Okay. We're talking about reporting child sexual assault. And we're talking about how it affects our community. What to do when you get pushback from the system. Bum Cherry says she tried to report that her 12-year-old son was being abused by a neighbor, and the police would not act on it. And so she did nothing after that and let it go. She tried, though, she said. So my question is did she do enough? Do you all think that she did enough? And the second question is, why didn't she push harder? Why do you think she didn't push harder? Do you think it might be because she was afraid of an investigation? Because I'm just going to be honest, I know a lot of Black families like that. where something happens, but they're afraid to report it because of other things they got going on in the house. So they just kind of, as Bomb Cherry say, they try and they let it go. Right, can't hide. Trying isn't good enough. You got to do better than just trying. Yeah, I think that there was something there too, can't hide. There was something that they were hiding, that they did not want to come out in investigation. That if the right questions were asked, something else would come out. Because I do remember her saying, and see, unlike everyone else, I don't lie. I try to be as fair as I possibly can. But I did recall her saying that the other little boy, her son's friend, came to her house and was trying to hit up on her because her son was, as she put it, quote unquote, messing around with his mother. And I remember her saying that she knew that the rationale of the little boy coming to her, trying to get some from her, was because her son was doing his mother. And see, I don't forget stuff like that. And I don't lie about stuff like that because that's serious. Now, Bum Cherry did not say that she slept with the little boy, but she said that she put two and two together. And that's how she found out about the abuse. Now, she can lie and she can try to remix it and walk it back, but that's what she said. Melanated Vessel says, Faith, actually, there are two different stories. If you want to, Melanated, you can come up on the panel and tell us what those two different stories are. But right now we have Miss Woman Sphere on the panel. And I'm so glad you came up, Woman Sphere, because I listened to Olivia and Bomb on Olivia's live. And they were going in talking about you were lying and all this other stuff. But I know what I heard. I heard the same thing. Now I wasn't there for the first story that you were telling about her son, basically domestic violencing her grandson's mother. But I was there for the story she told about the 13-year-old. So I know you were not lying about that at all. But welcome, sis. And
Good
what do
morning. Good
you say?
morning. Girl, I don't be lying about these hoes. They just be mad that I tell the truth. And it's like, I don't know why you're mad when I wouldn't even know about the situation that happened with your son and his son's other family members on the other side. If you wouldn't have been on live all day long sharing it with us, Bomb even shared the phone call to the other grandmother about the daughter. Like Bomb is the biggest liar I think I've ever come across on this platform. There are some people that lie a lot, but Bomb is huge with it. I mean, I'm talking about Bomb even said she had a brain tumor one time. Like, it's just huge. The lies just never stop. Every time and then she tells you, she says, well, when I be roasting, I make stuff up. No, you make stuff up all the time. Like, you make stuff up continuously. Bomb even said she was the first webcam model. Listen, I can't. Okay, Faith. At this point, I
Yeah,
think you should just be laughing at her, like, cause
I'm
she's
I
silly.
don't think it's funny though. I don't think child abuse, you
I'm
know,
not talking about child abuse. I'm not talking about child abuse. I'm not saying you should be laughing at child abuse. I said you should be laughing at Bomb, because
oh
Bomb
well,
is an idiot. She's an
yeah.
idiot.
Yeah,
She's
Bomb
a
is a whole
bimbo.
clown. She's a whole
Yeah.
clown.
Yeah, she's a bimbo. Like, she ain't smart. She ain't intelligent. And she sits over there. Like, the things that I like about Bomb is her hobbies. That's why I would go over there. You know what I mean? Because her hobbies, it takes a break away from the shit that we talk about, which is heavy all the time. You know, to see somebody just sewing or painting or doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would kick it with Bomb. But Bomb, at the heart and core, I know exactly who she was. That's why she over there mad at me right now, um, calling me a liar, even though on Miss Olivia's panel, if you listen to that initial discussion, everything that I said, Bomb turned around and admitted to it. She called me a liar first, and then she turned around and said, no, what I really was saying was, but what you were saying is that it's true though. Because if you got to turn around and say, but I really was saying, it happened. It happened. All you got to do is listen to her. It don't take a rocket science. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't take a rocket scientist.
Yeah, and
And
I find it so convenient that, you know, the videos that got taken down because her channel was deleted from YouTube. She's saying that, you know, hey, that's absolutely not true. That's a lie, but she couldn't deny the one that she recently talked to us about, as far as her 13-year-old, because that was very recent and people heard her, so she couldn't deny that, because I was there and I heard her. So I believe you when you say that the other thing happened too. Because she talks a lot, yeah, and she reveals a lot about her personal life, things that I would not reveal. I've even heard her say that her and her husband were swingers. I've heard her
mm-hmm.
say that.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden they not though. But it's like, you told us this. And then my thing is, where was your husband when all of this was happening to your son? Like, I've always wondered that, because she never talked about any part that he played as a father. It's almost like he has a absentee role. Like, everything is bomb, 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 but nothing is him. Like, nothing is, what is he doing? What is he directing? Where is he leading y'all? Is he just a sheep? One of those guys that just gets up and goes to
Wait,
work with
hold
no
on,
real.
Roman Sphere.
Mhm.
Hold on. Okay, anybody down in the chat? Okay, Roman Sphere is up on the panel. Now, if you do not like my guest, keep that to yourself. But don't be down there twerking in my chat. I'm going to ask the moderators that if you see anybody disrespecting me or any guest on my panel, immediately remove them from the stream. And if I have to take wrenches, so be it. But I keep telling you guys, you're not going to come over here and disrespect my channel or my guests. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Girl, this is why I said I was gonna stop climbing up on these channels, child, because people just, my God, y'all, I have my own channel. If you got such an issue, come to my channel. I have two. You can come to my channel. If you got so much smoke, come to my channel. Stop trying to ruin other people's platforms because you in your fucking feelings. But anyways, out of
But
this whole,
how do you feel about just getting back to the topic?
yeah,
How do you feel about her explanation over at Miss Olivia's, where she said that she
I didn't watch
tried?
it.
Okay, well, she basically said that she tried to report the event, and that the police did not take it seriously and would not press charges against the lady.
That's a lie. That don't even make sense. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what do people be really hearing in their brain? Like, how do you try to report an assault against a child? That's not a try. That's an automatic. You report it and then they collect charges. You don't try. The reason what it was because remember, she told the story of her son hooking up with the lady again at the park.
Wow.
Remember, she told a story about that and said that her son hooked up with the lady again at the park, and then he called her to come and get him.
I remember her saying that the relationship continued. But
Continue.
I'm just like, okay, if my underage son is continuing to have sex with a middle-aged white woman and I know about it, I'm not going to keep letting it happen. Either I'm going to push the envelope with the law, or me and her going to have some business in that park, and it ain't going to be, pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. She said that they had a continued relationship. And you know what I think? Because
Yes,
she
yes,
never,
Auntie Lou. Auntie Lou says were these minors. Yes, she said it started when her son was 12. I'm sorry.
yes.
Go ahead.
And it's like, to me, it's like, where was your husband in this situation? Because this seems like a situation a husband would spearhead. You know, a situation like this, a husband would step in. When she talks about it, it's almost like she was just dealing with it on her own. And it's like, where was your husband? Your son is being violated by a white woman. What do you mean tried to press charges? Like, either you did or you didn't. It's like, it ain't no try. It's either you did or you didn't. And then for your son to have a continuous relationship, an amicable relationship with this middle-aged white woman, and I mean, he wanted to do it, and you know what you did, Bomb? You let him do it. Just be real. You let him do it. You're the stereotypical male identified woman that would allow something like that. You probably looked at it as his rite of passage. That's how you and your husband probably looked at it, because it ain't no way you tried to press charges. Because as soon as the law finds out that a child is being violated, they come in no matter what. Because if they don't, that's a liability. Like, you ain't try to do nothing. You looked at it like a rite of passage. Your husband looked at it like a rite of passage, and y'all let it go down, which is why you
Mhm.
still got them two men in your home.
All right. Well, I agree with you, Woman Sphere. I would not let it go down. And that's the same thing. I think Inocracy Takeover. I'm going to read her comment. She says, I almost did 15 years because someone sexualized my son when he was an infant. I'm not playing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm talking about. Like, most mothers would not just, let that go.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I do see that we have a new person on the panel. We Demetrius H. Agzippy. I'm not sure if I
AGZP.
AGZP. Okay. What's up, brother? What did you want to say about the subject?
Um, for for starters, I'm not gonna assume anything about what her husband did, but I will say this, because when I was under the age of 18, I asked my father. I literally asked him to his face, like, what would you do if a woman or man like touched me inappropriately? Would you like applaud it or something, or would you like handle it? And he literally told me he'd knock their head sideways and go to the police. So with with the type of person my dad is, I know that there's nothing that can stop him, because we got lawyers in the family, we got people who are aspiring lawyers in the family. So he would not let this go. So I'm just saying, if anybody wants to clarify what happened, please do a stream, and I'll be there.
And that's fair. Now she did, speak her piece over at Miss Olivia the Oracle. They did a stream yesterday, so you could go to that stream and you can hear Bum Cherry's side of the story and how she explains away the situation for yourself. But I'm not going to play the stream here because I understand that there's such things as fair use and all that type of stuff. So I don't want people saying that I'm clipping up their stuff and not being fair. So I would encourage anyone to go to Miss Olivia the Oracle's channel and watch the stream for yourself. The title is "The Grannies Are Fighting." Bum Cherry versus Faith. and you hear it for
I
yourself.
appreciate it.
No problem.
I'm not gonna assume anything, but I just will say this: it did, upset me when, if like that's the only length that they went.
And
You know what I'm saying? Because
that's exactly
if the
what I
law fails,
felt too.
then I would think that people would take that into their own hands. Because when it comes to kids, like, people don't let that stuff go.
No, my
That
parents
starts
didn't
like
let it
entire
go.
blood feuds.
Facts. My parents didn't let it go when something like that happened to me and the police were trying to overstep their boundaries. My parents were strong and they stood as a united front. And that kind of brings me back to what Woman's Fear was saying, as far as like every time Bomb Cherry describes a situation that she's in with her kids, it's almost as if she's going through it by herself. My mom was not by herself, dealing in the situation where I almost got raped. My dad was there and he was the one initiating, pressing all the charges, kicking ass and, and everything else. So my mom didn't have to handle things by herself. Bomb
That's what I
Cherry
was
has a
saying.
husband.
That's what I was saying, Faith. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry. Um,
Mhm.
I feel like it just feels like an absentee parent almost. Like something is not adding up because those when I first came to the internet, which was 5 years ago, not the internet, but YouTube. When I first came to YouTube 5 years ago, Bomb's sons were 24, I think, and like 25. So that would mean they're almost 30 now. And they're still at home. It's something about that that just does not seem right, especially when they're creating families. And it's like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like, you don't. And the only reason why you're being dissected like this, Bomb, is because what you did to Miss Faith. We wouldn't even be saying anything at all. We wouldn't have words because we understand as women, unlike you, that you have to respect parenting. You never know what somebody is going through. You never know what their situation is. And that's the surefire way of pissing a woman off by coming at her about her children for whatever the situation is. Because you go through things with your children. I remember my mom told me, Miss Faith, when I was younger, I remember her saying, just live a little bit more with these
Mhm.
kids, and you'll see when they get bigger, the problems get bigger. You ain't even seen nothing yet. When I would be upset over little things like stuff in school or getting bad grades or, little stuff you go through with your kids, um, when you're just watching them like a hawk because they children. And my mom would tell me, like, just wait until they get bigger. You'll see more once they get bigger. And I
And
can't
it's
imagine.
interesting. It's
Yes.
interesting, not to cut you off. I'm excuse me, but it's interesting because you said that when you came to YouTube, her kids were in their mid 20s. Now they've
Hmm.
got to be at least in their late 20s or early 30s. They're
Yeah.
still living at home with their mother. She's raising a grandchild full time.
Hmm.
Where are the parents? Like I have a
Exactly.
grandchild, but my grandchild, I visit my grandchild. I love my grandchild, but the parents are involved.
Yeah.
I'm grandma. I'm there, for them if here and there, and the other grandmother is there, but it's not our full-time job. Like she has taken over being her grandchild's parent, it looks like.
And pushed a young lady out the way. Like she is literally like Bomb is literally the type of woman who if I was younger, I would not want her sons. Okay, because of her. Like it it is. I remember that day, Bomb. I know you like to say you like to lie. But I remember that day when you really went in on that young lady. You talked about her like a dog. You cussed her out. The young lady is biracial. You went at her hard. You went at her daughter hard because the young lady has a daughter before Bomb's son. And Bomb would try and, be there for the little girl because she did have her in a couple of videos, but then she would turn around and talk about her and be like, well, if she ain't what I really wanted for my son, you know. I mean, she got this other little girl, but I'll be nice to her or whatever. It's like, don't nobody want that old generational, nice, nasty shit. I dealt with moms like that.
Right. And a child is a child.
Yes. I dealt with
Just like
moms
my
like
my
that.
daughter, she's dating a guy, and the guy that she's dating has a child.
Mhm.
And when that young man brings his child around, I treat that child well. I don't sit up here and say, "Oh, not my grandchild." No,
Yeah.
that is a child.
Yeah. That's why I said I don't even know if to everybody listening in an earshot range, don't judge women based off they sit there things they go through with their children. Cause you're gonna go through things with your children. Why is people acting like you don't go through things with your children? I am
Girl,
in my 40s and my mom still feels some type of way about some of the stuff that I do. Like me and my mom had an argument last year because I would get on a flight and not tell her where I'm going. And she wouldn't know what state I was in at any given moment. And she didn't like that. And it really hurt her feelings. And here I am, like, well, I'm grown. Like, why I gotta, And she's like, no, if something happened to you and I don't even know where you are, you can't keep doing that. So you gotta understand you go through stuff with your parents. That's just a part of growing pains, learning things, and they are your first line of defense. They gonna feel like your first line of defense until you leave this bitch. That's what it is.
but I wonder how come she didn't
Mhm.
give her sons any options for what to do with their lives. Like I told my son, you could go to college. My son's very good with football. He had a football scholarship actually. And then we lived in Indiana that he had 21st century scholarships, so he can go to any college in the state of Indiana because he had good grades. And I told him, I said, you can go to college, or if you want to go to military route, you can do that. Why didn't she give him those boys any options? Why are they still living in her house? My son left at 18 for the military, and he's 22 now, and he has his own place.
I don't know, girl. I always wondered that. I kind of tried to not judge her for it. Like I said, the only reason why it needs to be very clear that the only reason why we are dissecting her like this is because what happened to Miss Faith and how they did her. That's the only reason why we're doing it. But some people act like we just came out of nowhere doing it. No, it's being discussed because of Miss Faith, and somebody throwing her under the bus that's no longer even a part of the conversation right now. And all because she was mad about something else. So
Absolutely.
yes, now it's being discussed. Now it's being discussed.
And
So
see,
I
I,
don't
I don't want
understand
to.
that.
I don't want to keep bringing this person up, but Koja Malik, she
Hmm.
is very toxic. Like, they try to make it seem as if I put all my daughter's information out there. I talked about my ordeal with being arrested, how the police were, not very fair in their treatment of me, and how I was treated in jail. And I was warning people that this is definitely not something to be played with. It's not something to brag about. I don't feel as if I have any bragging rights having been arrested. And so I was warning young women, don't get yourself in a situation where that happens. And then I took accountability for what I did. And I said I could have handled that differently, and I probably would not have ended up in that situation. It's a bad situation. So I was using my story as a cautionary tale, and they used it to weaponize against me. They used my family trauma as a weapon against me. Now,
But
see,
see,
when that first happened, my daughter, she was like, "Oh, mom, you're telling all the business and blah blah blah," and she didn't like it. So I said, you know what? Out of respect, I'm going to take that down. So I took the video down and never talked about it again. You want to know when it came up again? A former subscriber of mine by the name of Koja Malik. That's how it came up again, because I honored my daughter's wishes and took the video down and never spoke of it again. It got spoke of again because of Koja. And that's just the honest truth of the matter.
yeah, yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. And she was wrong. And she ain't got to never come to my channel again. I really don't care. I'm throwing things out with the wash. You know what I mean? Like I ain't got time no more, man, to be going like doing this with these people. You know, throwing the rock and high in your hand. You know what happened. You know what you did. You was mad over a situation on a panel with Miss Faith, and you took the opportunity to slang her daughter under the bus because of a better class of a woman. And the way that y'all are offended by this series is so telling. It
It
is
is.
so telling. Like, you can try and gain these little brownie points running around here by marking people as manosphere. Because I see that's what people like to do to women they don't like. Oh, she's manosphere. Because this space is so ABC 1, 2, 3. No constructive criticism, no critical thinking skills, no thought process of your own. You just want to sit up and be like, oh, the man is here, the man, and crying all day.
Well, this whole place is an echo chamber, and all of this is a popularity contest. And I want to also address the fear mongering that's going on. And I feel very insulted when I hear people coming to me talking about some beware of woman's fear. Oh, the boogeyman,
Right, girl.
And I'm
Girl.
just like, okay, even if woman's fear was on some bullshit, I
Mm-hmm.
can handle myself. Woman's fear
Mm-hmm.
knows I can handle myself. And there's been plenty of times I've told woman's fear to her face that there were things that she was talking about or things that she was doing that I didn't like. I don't have no problem communicating with woman's fear.
Yep,
And
you've
in those
always done it.
communications, you never once turned on me or, said anything. You have your feelings about my talking points too, but it was
Mm-hmm.
never to this extent.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just like I got a bad reputation because people hate me because I tell the truth. That's simply what it is. That's really what it is in this space. These people are some cornball, swagless, no real intellectual property, nothing, nothing. They have nothing. All they do is adopt other people's talking points. I done had so many people try to personality hijack me in this space. Everybody want to push me out the way of my position with Black women. You know, I got so many women that's trying to be me. I'm watching somebody try and be me right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm watching
Oh
her
yeah.
try and be me right now. like, like I can see, I got eyes, I got ears. You know what I'm saying? I can see. Like I see
Oh,
you.
oh, shout out to Unapologetic Gemini. She been dropping some gems over there at her channel, by the way.
Yeah, I'll be watching her channel. She done came at me a couple of times, but it's all right, child.
Oh, woosah.
Yeah, it's all right.
But here's
Yeah,
the
it's all
thing, to
right.
all the people that are out here trying to fear monger, I've been knowing woman's fear for some years now. So this ain't the first time I've met woman's fear. For all of you trying to quote unquote warn me. And this ain't the first time women's fear done met faith.
Yeah.
So you're talking to two women that basically already know about each other.
Hmm.
Just FYI.
Yep. I was talking to someone about that, and they were like, I've been literally pulling the receipts because so many people been warning me about you. I'm like, girl, that's what they do in this space. They hate to see a real bitch coming. They hate to see a real bitch coming. They want to sit comfortably in these echo chambers of conversation. They don't want growth. They just want to ride the coattails of everybody else. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to move me out the way just to become me. Make that make sense. Make it make sense.
Oh
Was
yeah, it
no,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Jealousy. That's what it is. It is jealousy.
So I don't pay them no attention because let me tell you something. My cup running over. Just when you thought you had me, I will come with a new concept. I create my own framework, baby. I ain't y'all. I ain't y'all. I'm not y'all. I'm not the F black men and F white men. And then that's just simple. It's just that simple for you. Nah. Because white men historically are the worst man. And you not even about to play games with me about that.
Facts on facts. Alpha Omega says, I can vouch woman's fear revolutionized the space.
Sure did. Single handedly. Single handedly. And will continue to do it. So it's like that's why they be mad. They mad. And trying to replace, you cannot replace me. By the
But
time
getting
I'm done, everything will be better. Trust me.
facts on facts. But getting back to the subject at hand. Now, I
Mhm.
talked a little bit about why I thought Bomb Cherry might not have pushed the envelope as far as reporting the sexual assault of her 12-year-old son. Why do you think she didn't push the envelope?
I think that she looked at it like most male identified women would. I think her husband praised it. In my mind, this is what I think. Because she never mentions her husband in this process at all. And I think that because when she talked about it, she even giggled. She was like, my son, he didn't feel like it was nothing. So what was I supposed to do? He's 12. He's not going to feel like it's nothing. He's going to be happy. He's going to be proud. The 12-year-old boy is sleeping with a middle-aged white woman. And we already know that any child that's raised by a male identified woman, he's probably has colorist issues. So he probably
Mhm.
felt proud. And that dad probably was like, yeah, young man, yeah. Patting him on the back because we all know that happens in the community. That happens in the community. Men praise young boys for sleeping with older women. They praise them. So I really think that's what happened. I think her husband praised it. I don't think she tried to do nothing because that sounds ridiculous. How you trying to get your son justice? How is that a try? I
But
don't believe you.
the whole story just sounds crazy to me because I was listening to her explanation. Like I said, I'm fair. And I
Mm-hmm.
try to, assess things, without bias, even though it's hard because of how she came at me with my daughter. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be honest about that. But she said that she's changed the story around quite a few times. There's a lot of ways that she told the story, but she told the story differently again. Because I remember she initially introduced the story to me when I was listening with her
Mm-hmm.
audience. She
Mm-hmm.
initially introduced it by saying that her son's friend was coming to her trying to get sex from her. And she
Mm-hmm.
was wondering why the boy was coming to her trying to get sex from her. And she thought to herself, maybe it's because my son is having sex with his mother. And so
What?
she,
Wait a minute. Wait a
yeah,
minute.
this is how she first introduced the story. So, now, it's like the story, as far as like everybody else is hearing like different portions of this story, but this is how it was introduced to me when I first heard it.
Wow. Now that part I ain't never heard before. That is amazing. So she had a young man coming to her for sex and she didn't report it. Why did that young man feel comfortable coming to you for sex, Bomb? And we see you all over the internet naked. So was this young man watching you and knew about you? Because you was doing all these record. See, this is the thing I've never understood. Now, I got no problem with nobody being a freak. But when your kids is in the house, how are you recording all of these sexual exploitations?
Well, that's the other thing. I remember her saying that her children and her grandchildren knew that when she was doing her recordings, for the online stuff that she was doing, that they knew not to come into the kitchen where she did majority of her little videos, I guess. So she's doing this stuff in front of the children and the grandchildren, from what I'm gathering from what she's saying.
Well, I got another mic drop moment. When her mother-in-law was interviewed on YouTube, because that happened too, she had a lot to say about her. She had a lot to say. She does not, her mother-in-law cannot stand her. Cannot stand her. And I'm be honest, I understand. Because it's like I don't understand, like I have no problem with sex workers. But I do know that with boys or children, how are you in the house recording whole strip tease videos, whole shaving your vagina videos with your legs wide, and your sons know about this? This is going to give them a distorted view on women. So now we got the answer to why her sons are still home. Because that's going to give any young boy. I don't even let my sons see me in my body like that. I'm covered. Like I'm not
Now
walking
I'm
around the house in
thinking
booty shorts. I don't even wear
I'm
booty shorts around my sons.
now
I'm covered.
I'm gonna try to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
That when she says that she's doing her cam modeling stuff in the kitchen and the kids know not to go in there, and that they don't go in front of the camera, maybe she's like not doing the playing in the vagina stuff, but she's more kind of like just doing the other, like I don't know. I'm just
But
trying
still,
to,
just Faith.
you know.
Imagine sitting your son down like, so I'm about to go shake my ass in the kitchen right quick. So don't come in front of this camera. Like, imagine the conversation.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good at all. It really doesn't.
It just don't. It don't. Like, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine.
But see, that
I,
is the reason why I guess the Better Class of Women series that I'm doing bothers women like Bomb and Atari, because I would tell them that that's inappropriate, and that's a behavior that we need to modify with our, as women raising children.
you don't want your children to see any sexual side of you. Like, that ain't for your children. That ain't for your children. It's not. And so I always wondered that about Bomb. I don't think I really judged her because like I said, I don't have a problem with sex workers. But I did always wonder because her sons are still in the house. So I was just trying to figure out in my mind, like, how was she doing that? Because I could just imagine if they had friends coming over, then that's probably why that little boy approached her. Because you never know what they told their peers or what they shared with their peers about what their mom was doing. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And I thought to myself that it was just strange that you would not push the envelope like that. And I thought it was because of things that she might have been doing in that house, that if they launched an investigation and if they really got a chance to talk to her son, he probably would have said some things and told some things that she didn't want him to tell. And that's probably why she didn't push it.
Yeah, you probably right about that one. You know, because I'm still stuck at the part of a little boy approaching her for sex. Do you know how I would have dealt with that? Oh my God.
And
Like,
see, can't hide. She posted in the chat that melanated vessel said that Bomb said that her son told her when he was grown. But that's the reason why I said the story keeps changing, because when I heard the story, she was introducing it like the little boy tried to have sex with her, and then she figured out in her mind that if this little boy is trying to have sex with her, it's probably because her son might be having sex with his mother. And she said she pulled her son to the side and asked him. But then when I listened to her explanation yesterday, she totally denied saying that. But I heard her say that. And instead, she told yet a different story. So I don't know. This story changes a lot.
wow. Yeah, when I first heard her tell the story, it didn't have nothing to do with when she everything happened when he was young, not when he was grown. That's a lie. That's a lie. That is a
Yeah, because when
lie.
I heard the story, that's what she said. And then she even said so herself, that she called the police and tried to get something done. So if your son was grown, you wouldn't have been able to call no police. So that
Exactly.
that debunks that lie right there.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's just, girl. She just need to leave you alone. Is what she need to do. She need to go on about her business. Leave you alone. She don't got no right to judge. None of us do. We have no right to judge other parents. You never know what you're gonna go through with a child. And
Well,
especially,
Woman Fear, hold on. I don't mind my parenting being judged, but if I say that my adult child is going through, a program where she's trying to get herself together, and I will respectfully like for you to refrain for talking about that situation, because it might trigger her and stunt her treatment. I asked about that, but I don't mind being judged
mm,
at all. As a matter of fact, I endorse judging.
okay, yeah, I don't really mind being judged
But just
either.
understand that you may be judged in the same measure that you judge others.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't really mind being judged either. People do videos about me all the time. I really don't care. I don't even watch, to be honest. That's why I said I didn't even see Olivia and her, because I don't watch. Once I start seeing people are just, being somewhat antagonistic to me, I stop watching them. I just stop. Like, I don't even watch the people I'm going at. I wouldn't know what they were saying unless people come back and tell me. Seriously, I don't watch. I start watching. I like to watch people I'm actually interested in, not people that are dragging me to the ground. I don't want to ingest that.
Well,
No.
see, you're responsible. Like,
Mm,
if you don't like something, what you did was you were responsible. You took accountability. You said, okay, I don't like this. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to watch it.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
you don't like my Better Class of Woman series. You don't like the idea. Why not just, there's so many different channels here on YouTube. There's a
right.
little button, like if my channel comes up in your what they call recommendations, there's the
Mm-hmm.
three dots on the side that comes on the side of the channel that
Mm-hmm.
says not interested. And then so the algorithm will not even send you any mentions from that video.
Yep. And I always hit not interested. Anytime anybody come up that I know is doing content on me, I hit not interested. Once I see that it's a problem and you about to turn into everything else behind me, a trail of tears, because I got a long line of trail of tears behind me, people crying over stuff that is just not even significant. So what I do is I just hit not interested and I unsubscribe and I don't watch no more. I don't be watching y'all hoes talking about me. And you know what? I honestly, Faith, I will get back to the Better Class of Women series because to me it was thought provoking. I liked it, I will be actively tuned in, watching. Sure will. It's
But
interesting to
you know
me.
what? This is actually a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Unofficially, this is a part of it because this is the class of women, the type of stuff that these women are doing. This actually proves my point even further.
It does. Yep, it does. It's really it's really sad to be honest because all we needed to do was have the conversation. We didn't need to go on personal attacks over a series. It could have been really dynamic if we would have just focused on the conversation of a better class of a woman, because I think that what they are focusing on is the word better. And I
Yes.
think the word better makes them feel, oh, you think you better than me? It's
Yes.
typical woman behavior. Oh, you think you better than me? That's not what you said at all. What you talked about was accountability, learning how to improve, and all of that. You didn't. What you were saying is creating a better class of a woman, not that you were better. You didn't just come out and say, "I'm better. I'm better than you." Shut up, talking. I'm better. You didn't just come out doing that. You said what you would like to see. And I understood exactly what you were saying. That's why I don't get that word better really triggered a whole lot of people. And it's just like, to me, I've had women in this space treat me like that, like they were so called better than me. I've had them
Hmm.
treat me like that. Okay. But I've never had anybody actually say those words to me. You know what I mean? Like it's, and
Yeah,
if they
we won't
do,
we
if
won't
they,
say it in so many words, but we will actually enact it. Just like if the woman tells another woman, "Well, you
mm,
know what? You ugly and you just mad because you don't got no man doing this and doing that for you,
yeah,
blah blah blah, and I am prettier." Well, basically what you're saying is you look better than that other woman, and because you look better than her, you're better than her. And so you're
yeah.
going to get treated differently and you have pretty privilege. That's all you're doing is saying you're better than that woman.
I'm gonna say this on the pretty privilege thing, as far as like when it connects to being better, it's not better. It's not better. Nobody cares if you're pretty. Okay, the older you get, the more you will see that no man cares about you being pretty. They might pretty is only connected to sexual um, needs and desires, visualization. But in a grander scheme of things, pretty don't matter. I actually wanted to do a video surrounded around Pretty Hurts by Beyonce
Mm-hmm.
because it's very deep. That song is very deep. And it's like, listen, pretty ain't getting you nowhere. Pretty is getting you exploited. Trust me. I consider myself to be pretty, and that's not me bragging, but I consider myself to be pretty. And I'm telling you, pretty, it doesn't get you anywhere. It's you and the essence of your womanhood that gets you somewhere. Not being pretty. Pretty gets you exploited. That's what pretty gets you. Exploited. Honestly, that's what it gets you
Exactly.
because it's superficial. So if people are looking at you and all they see is what you look like, they don't know you, they ain't talk to you, they ain't did nothing. So all it gets you is exploitation, to be seen, to be looked at. Nobody cares about that. And most women, if you got an ounce of womanhood to your core, You don't want to be seen just for what you look like. You don't even want. I don't even be want nobody to look at me.
You know,
Literally.
I was watching a video by that lady, what's her name? Kendra G. And there
Yeah.
was a lady that came onto her video, and I guess the women they don't know when she's going to turn the camera on. So the lady had a really voluptuous shape. She was real pretty, you know, big voluptuous woman. She's the epitome of a BBW, beautiful woman.
Hmm.
And Kendra kept talking about, so, ooh, look at that body, ooh, them
Hmm.
titties, and all this other stuff. And you could see the woman was looking like she was uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And I'm like, Kendra, hello, there's a whole human being inside that body.
Hmm.
You know, you're making her uncomfortable, you know.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
So
why I
I,
said pretty ain't it ain't all what it's cracked up to be. I would tell y'all that, and any attractive woman knows that. Like you get exploited, you get boxed in, you get categorized, you get told how you should and should not be because you're pretty. I can't count how many times people have told me I need to be this way or that way because you're too pretty to be talking like that. Oh, stop talking. You're too pretty to be. And it's like, shut up. Don't nobody care about being pretty. Pretty fades. What are you talking about?
but see, that's what we lead with as women. I see a lot of women leading with that. Like I said, when Kendra G did that to that girl, and I was looking at the woman's body language, you know how a person just kind of their shoulders hunch up and then they kind of close their arms in. That those are body language that tells you that I'm uncomfortable. You know, there's a whole human being inside of a body. There's a whole human being behind a pretty face. That's the reason why when I meet women, I judge them by their character, their skills, as well as their beauty. I'm not saying that you don't acknowledge a woman's beauty, but you don't do it to the point where they feel uncomfortable. We're getting just as bad as the men with how we do that to each other.
That's why I never I would never want to post body pics on here because I didn't want people looking at my body. I didn't. It's like that pretty stuff to me has always been like a challenging topic, and I think it does tie into a better class of a woman because like I recognized early what I could do with my pretty, but at the same time, it was not the thing I was most proud of about myself. And I really did not like that the world focused on my looks more than my intellect. I didn't like that. I
Yeah,
didn't like it.
it puts women in a box. That's what it does. And there is no empowerment in that at all. The gynocracy takeover says that she does it a lot. Women sexualize me first because I'm openly bisexual. It's a defense mechanism, but I need to work on that. The thing about it is, ladies, there's a difference between giving someone a compliment, like, oh, you look so pretty today, or you look beautiful, or that blouse looks beautiful. I like that outfit. But when you start going into, ooh, look at that body, them titties. Oh, girl, you got some booty. Now it's becoming disrespectful. So please be aware of how we communicate with each other. There's nothing wrong with giving compliments, but be respectful of one another.
And I said that too about voluptuous women because all of my friends that are voluptuous, like kind of like how gynocracy is, I know she's telling the truth. I know she gets sexualized because of her body type. You know, she's thick in all the right places, and so I know that women and men do it to her because I see it happening to all of my friends who are stacked that way. And I'll be like, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Like they can't go no. It don't matter what they wear. They can have on sweatpants and a t-shirt. It do not matter what they got on. If you are like heavy chested, big derriere, like you get sexualized automatically, automatically everywhere you go. And it's almost like the Sarah Bartman theory, like when they
That's
just
exactly what it is. We put each other on display when we treat each other like that. Perfect. I'm sorry, but I cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. And it's like when I see gynocracy, that's the first thing that comes to mind is Sarah Bartman. Like she's built like Sarah Bartman. And it's a lot of black women that are built like that. And they don't like all the sexualization and attention. It's almost like you prop them up on a pedestal and bring out the kickstands, which you know what I mean by a kickstand, and the slits. That's what my granny called them, kickstands and slits.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, but you bring them out to sexualize, to further sexualize, and it's almost like women that are built like that with that Sarah Bartman physique, they don't get seen as real people. They don't get seen as real people at first. And it's sad because they get introduced to the nastiest core in nature of people just because of how they are built up. And I've seen it happen to all my friends, all of my voluptuous friends. I'll be feeling sad sometimes when we go out because it's always somebody trying to touch them, always somebody trying to hug them, always somebody looking at them with all that weird sexual lust and desire and predatory energy. It's like, oh my God.
But
Yeah,
see,
I
that's the
wouldn't. Yeah,
reason
that's
why
crazy.
I said that a better class of woman starts with our mindset. So we have to get our mindset together that we're going to stop looking at our bodies and at other women's bodies as a sexual vessel first. And we have got to start looking at each woman as being a whole individual, a person, because it is very uncomfortable, like Ken Hyde says. And we shouldn't be making each other feel like that. We should have respect for each other as women to know not to do that. Like Atari said when she first started doing videos, I praised Atari for her editing skills. I did. And I still say she's really good at this editing thing. Well, is she the best? No, but she's really good at it. So I propped her up and I, gave her encouragement to do what she does. But I do not encourage you to be biased in what you do and to weaponize people's family traumas against them in your videos and just lie and make up stuff. Now, even though you're clipping what people are saying, did you know that there's a way that you can actually take clips and make the clips seem as if the person is saying one thing, but in your title, with the title being misleading, it bastardizes what the person actually said. And then if the clip doesn't include the other thing that the person said, then yeah, it is very misleading. And see,
Yeah, I don't I
I
actually
begin to see Atari's work become extremely biased. It wasn't always like that.
yeah.
Like even when she took my picture, of my whole body and put it across the top, I even shared it and said, "Oh, look, Atari's going in on me or whatever."
Mm,
I don't have a problem with being critiqued, but I do have a problem with you weaponizing my family trauma, clipping it up, remixing it to sound like something else. Yeah, it's my voice, but you clipped it up and you left out certain parts on purpose, and that is misleading.
yeah, I don't have any words for her. I don't. Not at all. I don't have nothing. Nope. I would never mention that girl again. I've moved on, child. I ain't got nothing for her. Shout out to her. I don't care what she clips of mine. Just like I said, I don't really care what people clip. I don't, people have done it all the time. Just like she said, I threatened to flag her All I said was I could do it if I wanted to, but I didn't. And she left that part out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
crazy
that's
at
what
this
I'm saying.
point.
Like
That's why I said, yeah, that's why I said,
Miss
girl, I ain't got nothing
Olivia,
for her. I ain't
Miss
got nothing for
Olivia
Tari.
was sitting up here saying, "Oh, she's using their actual voices," but Miss Olivia, you're being disingenuous.
No,
Oh,
she is, no. She is using our actual voices. And that's why I said I don't care any further what she does. She's not going to take up my time. I'm not going to get into a back and forth with her. I don't even want to discuss her, to be honest, because I just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, she could do what she want to do. It doesn't bother me. I've moved on from her altogether.
well, I
Period.
mean, that's good, woman's fear. And I've moved on from her too, but I will, still give her advice. Your clips are good. You don't have to misrepresent what a person is saying by being biased. Like Woman's Fear said, she said one thing, but then you left out the rest on purpose so that it seems as if, what she's saying goes along with your misrepresenting message in your thumbnail.
Because
And
I
I know,
did say all I said, and everybody knows me on here. I've never flagged anybody. I said, she's using that, and it makes me feel uncomfortable because Faith trusted me enough to have that conversation on my channel, and now it's being exploited, and I feel uncomfortable for Miss Faith, and I feel responsible. And I felt bad about it. I said, but I don't flag people, so that's not something I will do. And I literally followed it with that. So it's like, to me, when people want to find a problem when there is none, because I don't got no problem with that girl, you know what I'm saying? Not at all. I don't. I help build her channel.
yeah,
I
and
took her from
and I,
4K to
I look
over
at her
5K.
I look at her as being like Baller X, but at least with Baller X, he's not biased with his clippings, and he does not
No,
weaponize anybody's trauma against them either. And
he just does
he
funny
doesn't,
stuff. He likes
yeah,
to post the funny stuff.
he doesn't
Yeah,
have a personal agenda. I don't get any of that from his clippings. And I watch his stuff religiously, and his channel has blown up, and he didn't have to do half the stuff that Atari is doing.
yeah. Everybody do what they do around here, child. It's like that's why I said I'm not even upset with the young lady. I moved on from her. Like, that's it. Like, I done moved on from her. I can't even fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit too weird for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even mess with it. Like, I got way too many people that be on me. Like, and people love to turn on me. So it's just like, I'm not surprised. That's why I said I ain't even got nothing to nothing for her no more. Nothing at all.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much in the same boat. Like I said, I still think that she's a very beautiful and very talented woman. She's not a young lady anymore. She's in her 30s, but she's a beautiful and talented woman. But
Mhm.
she's biased,
Mhm.
and I think that that is going to be her downfall. She has an agenda, and so
Mhm.
that is also going to be her downfall. Now, if you don't like a person's message, that's perfectly fine. But you don't go around weaponizing family trauma because you don't like a message. And
Yeah.
as far as Miss Bomcherry is concerned, as far as that explanation that you gave about what happened, that the unfortunate thing that happened with your son, and you trying and failing to get
Mhm.
justice for him, it's not good enough, sis. That was not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you have your Mhm.
That's to me, like, that whole situation with that. It's just like so much has happened over the course of how long has it been? that we all been kind of going back and forth, and it's been so disappointing. So disappointing. Like it's with Sister George, and then it's like it's just been so disappointing, and everybody that's trying to make it better and do better and not be mad and not be angry is getting called fake and getting called phony and getting called, manosphere and all these labels and marks being put on women that's just trying to do better. Like just trying to, make up with each other, rationalize with each other and, not act like straight up and down lunatics towards each other all the time. It's it's bad that we ain't getting no saving grace. That manosphere marking is what I'm starting to peep. That's what people use to disqualify you completely as a
Hmm.
woman, as a black woman in this space. They use that part just for women to say, "Oh, well, hell no, they over there with the men." And man, that's just getting old. It's just getting old. It's old.
The
It's
gender
old.
warring thing is getting old.
Yes, it's old. Nobody cares about that anymore. Nobody wants to be like, you're not operating in your real life like that. You're not. You're not in your real life just hating men, walking around scowling at men with your lip curled up, and you ain't doing all of that.
Well, of course not. I mean, Bum Cherry loves men.
Right.
We all know Bum Cherry loves men, and Sweet Life of Atari loves men. Even though she goes to all the Manosphere panels to argue with them, you're
Mhm,
there. You watch them. You go to their panels.
mhm.
So, a let's not even sit up here and play these games. If any heterosexual sexual woman loves men, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's natural if you're a heterosexual woman, and
Yep.
nobody should shame you for that.
I just want that. It's like the gender war rhetoric to me. I think we need to start focusing more as women on like self improvement, things we need to do to get better, and stop focusing on men because I understand that some people are coming in, like Pink Pill had explained it, and her explanation of it was really good. She was like that some women come in with the rage. They have the rage. So they going at the men. And I do understand that. I understand that. And she said, you got to let them have the rage. She was like, but for all of us that have been doing this for a while, because see, we've been doing BWE for a while, me and her. And she like, we done already made it through. We ain't on that no more. We are, but they may still be in that place. So you got to understand. And you know what? I do understand. I'm just not in that place. So I got to create content for the space that I'm in, not where everybody else is at. Because I'm not there anymore. Like I kind of, but I do understand what Pink Pill was saying about the rage phase for a lot of women. They're in that phase of raging. And so it is what it is. It is what it is.
Exactly. Someone said, "Oh no, I don't love men." Well, you love women, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's some women that love other women. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think it's I don't love men as a collective. I don't. They get on my nerves. But the gender war thing is something that is so non-productive to me. I think that we should be discussing solutions. We should be discussing ways to resolve. And I'm more focused right now where Black women are mentally, where Black women are spiritually, as opposed to what Black men are doing or what white men are doing or any man for that matter. I don't really care about what men are doing, but I do care about what Black women are doing. And so
Right.
that's why I was supporting your better class of a woman. That was the primary reason why I was supporting it. Because I do care about what Black women are doing. And I want to know, like, are we growing? Are we building? Are we handling our emotional issues? Because it's okay to be hurt. I did a video one time years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I addressed Black women about how they support their girlfriends through a breakup. And I was like, a lot of y'all be real mean and distant towards other Black, towards your homegirl when she going through a breakup. She done got her heart broken, and you acting as if it's nothing. It's nothing. You don't care about it. It don't matter to you. And this woman is over here crying her soul out and feeling like she can't share with nobody.
Exactly.
And that's not a good look, because a heartbreak is literally the worst pain you will feel outside of it feels like a death. That ain't a death. So I asked Black women about it, and I talked to Black women about it, and I said, hey, show your homegirl a little bit more love when she go through that heartbreak, because them heartbreaks be rough, and that's typically something Black women have to deal with all on their own, because
Yes.
nobody takes our feelings when we sad that serious.
It's all about that. I hate that term, being unbothered. Being
Yes.
unbothered is not something that is applicable in every situation.
Mm-hmm.
When you break up, the end of a relationship is almost the same as if you're mourning the loss of a loved one. You are
Mm-hmm.
actually mourning the loss of that relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with you allowing yourself to go through that mourning process.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's why I was saying, like, the rage that a lot of women have in the beginning of their journey of awakening and getting to know themselves. There's a rage that's there. And I think that a lot of women have it. They have it. And and when Pink Pill was explaining it, I was like, that's exactly what it is. Because it's okay. It's okay to rage, but don't mess around and miss the mark and rage against all the wrong people. You're raging because you're hurt, and you need to be focused on the fact that you are hurt. Any women doing content against Black men at first, and they newbies, it's because they are hurt. And I just wish that more BWE content creators would speak from the place of being hurt. Stop acting as if you don't care. You do care. You do care. It's why you're so upset. You do care. Because
And
I care.
there's something else that I wanted to, because Poetic Kales, shout out to the community of women who are bisexual and lesbian. I support your community. And
Mhm.
the reason that I wanted to bring that up is because in the lesbian community, there is quite a bit of domestic violence
Yes, it is.
amongst women. And so I want the women who are part of that community not to feel as if your voices are not heard as women too, because you
Exactly.
are a woman and you are part of the sisterhood.
Well, I
I just
have
want you to know
quite
that.
a few lesbians that are subscribed to me. I have actually a pretty significant LGBTQ community. I have gay men that are subscribed to me, lesbians, transgenders. My transgender moderator is so beautiful. She comes up all the time. Her name is Imani. She's very, very honest about her story. Very honest. She talks about all the dangers and everything. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to talk to so many different people. So I hope that you can reach a lot of people with the Better Class of a Woman series
Right.
because
This series is for all women. This is one
yeah,
size fit all. So whether this is not about a man, this is not about getting a man or any of that type of stuff. It's
mm-hmm,
about women healing other women and becoming a better class of women. Period. Whether
yeah,
you're with a man, whether you're with a woman, or whether you like men or women, it's not about who you're sleeping with. It's about you being a better woman for yourself and working on what's inside.
yeah, yeah. And that's all I heard when you brought it. That's all I heard was that right there. Yep, that's what I heard, and I was on board. I was like, oh wow, that's good. That's right on time.
But
Is
I
that
do want to say something to my sisters in that community because I have family that this affects as far as like the high domestic violence rates in that community. Ladies, we have got to start being able to communicate with each other better. As women, our emotions are a lot higher than men. So imagine, getting together, you got two women together, you got two emotionally high charged people together. That is a recipe for disaster. And we don't know how to de-escalate with one another effectively. So, a part of a better class of woman, I'm going to be sharing some of the de escalation tactics that I've learned in my life journey. And it should help with the healing process. So, it's not going to just simply be about trauma bonding, but I'm going to actually give you tools that you can use in your everyday lives.
that's good? That's good. I think it's a good idea. That's a good idea, babe.
But let's see, it's going on 2 hours here. There was something else that I wanted to touch on. Oh, okay. Let me attack you in peace. Y'all, y'all saw the thumbnail. And I touched on it earlier when I said, bitch, please, you got me fucked up.
Hmm.
So I did want to pose that question to you, Woman's Fear, before we close out. How do you feel about turning the other cheek, that ladies ought to just, be ladies at all time?
I think that you don't gotta like me. I don't expect every woman to like me. I don't. Once you decide to have an issue with me, I just let it go in my mind. If I ain't lose nothing, I'm not gonna address you. If all we did was get on a couple of panels together and then you just decide, hey, I don't like her, that's fine. That's fine with me. I'm out. Peace. But if I lost something, like I said, punishments need to fit the crime. And the only reason why I'm doing what I'm doing with those two individuals over there is because it's over 20K worth of crime. Okay. Like this would be real life issues. Like it wouldn't, like this is not just YouTube stuff. But if somebody decides on a panel to just like be like, hey, I don't F with woman's fear no more. I don't think I like her. I just walk away from the situation. I try not to mention the person no more and I try and leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? I try. I don't always succeed all the time, which is why I don't expect other women to be perfection towards me all the time. They might get a
Mhm.
little petty with my ass and want to be petty towards me. And I take it in stride. I don't
Yeah,
get too
no,
mad.
nobody's perfect,
Mm,
but you don't
yeah.
have to. You don't have to go there. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
some people.
I feel that some people like to take it to the highest of levels, and it's not necessary.
Hmm. Hmm. I mean, I understand that. It's just I'm not always perfect all the time either, but I do try. And I do try and understand that if I mention somebody and then they mention me, I expect them to. I mentioned them like Just like Bomb, she responded to what I said over here. Can I be mad at Bomb for that? No, I said it. So if she wants to respond, she can. And that's
Mhm.
pretty much how I try and be fair and look at most things, and I try not to get mad about it. And for the most part, I don't. But it's some situations that have been extremely personal for me, that I do talk about. And it's my fault because I should have never been getting personal with people online like that anyway. So you got to learn your own lessons and all of that. But I do think that punishments need to fit the crime as far as how you address people and how far you are willing to go. It shouldn't be just panel discussion disagreements. I don't believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the same with me. I am a lady, I like to, maintain a certain, decorum with people. And that's how I live my life. And that's how I've displayed myself across the board with my channels. But people have also seen my battle axe side. you know, they have seen me go
They've
in
seen
on
mine
other
too,
people.
girl. They've seen
Oh, yeah.
mine too.
So I want the message to be that just because you're a lady don't mean that you have to take nobody's shit. Okay? A woman of class can get down and dirty when she needs to too. That's called giving them a classy ass whooping if need be. And there is such a thing as that. You don't have to be a doormat just because you're a lady. So I always tell people don't let the smooth taste fool you.
And you don't got to be a doormat just because you do BWE content. I get that a lot. A lot of people be thinking I'm supposed to let any woman just dog me and do me dirty. And I'm supposed to never get upset or mad or angry. Like, I get that a lot. And listen, I will not accept that. And I've never accepted that. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, just because I believe in the collective of Black women, it doesn't mean that I have to accept Black women disrespecting me and dogging me. I don't. I
Exactly.
don't.
So, ladies, always stand up for yourself. And you
But I'm
don't
gonna
have to
jump
be a
down,
people
Faith, because
pleaser.
I gotta go. But I do appreciate coming up on the panel. But I gotta
Oh,
check in with this little 4-year-old of mine.
okay. Well, no problem. Take care of the babies first. I appreciate you for coming up.
Thank you, Faith. You have a nice day, love.
All right. All right, guys. Well, I'm about to shut it down myself. But I just came here to have this talk with you guys this morning. Being a better class of woman does not mean that you are a doormat. Okay. I want you guys to leave with this main message in mind because that's what the embodiment of the title is. It is okay for you to stand up for yourself. It does not make you any less of a classy lady for standing up for yourself. And being a people pleaser gets you nowhere. Now, it's okay to be thoughtful of others, but if that sentiment is not being reciprocated, then you owe nobody nothing. Okay? You owe nobody nothing. Respect has to be a reciprocal thing. And if you're not getting respect and respected in return for the respect that you give, then you owe them nothing. And you have a right to stand up for yourself. Now, people will try to disarm you by saying, oh, but you're supposed to be such a classy lady. Come on, let us keep punching you. Come on, classy ladies are not supposed to ball their fist up. What are you balling your fist up for? You're supposed to be a better class. We're supposed to be the Neanderthals. This is what they'll tell you. And the answer to that is I will respectfully kick your ass. So with that, I want you to keep that in mind. Okay, being a lady does not equal doormat. Stand up for yourself, ladies. And with that, I'm going to end the stream. I love each and every one of you. And with that, I got to say, peace. I'm out.